So we begin. Our first inductee. For over 35 years, this broadcasting icon delivered the day's sports, announced the games, caught the fish all over the Northwest. He played golf, and you might think, what a dream job. And he's going to answer, you're darn right it was. For a generation of sports fans, Doug LaMear was Oregon's sportscaster. In 35 years at KGW-TV, LaMear was the voice of choice for the day's sports news. His love of fishing and wildlife showed in his award-winning outdoor programs, and his play-by-play skills were displayed on the Sunday replays of Oregon football games.
The Ducks of Oregon probably gained the state and Northwest football more converts by the Rose Bowl showing than any other team in history. Although losing 10-7 to the Big
all
Ohio
started
State
in the
Buckeyes.
same manner of the careers of many successful sports broadcasters. Doug LaMear grew up in the Rose City, playing baseball at Benson High School and caddying for golfers at Waverly Country Club. His passion for those sports fueled his drive to cover the games that he loved. Radio was the king of media in the late 40s when Doug began his career in the Mid-Valley, then moved back home for a variety of on-air stints. The still evolving medium of television beckoned back in 1956 when LaMear joined the KGW-TV news team. Doug LaMear, Richard Ross, Ivan Scott, and Jack Capel became Portland's first newscast of record, destination viewing for nightly news watchers. Throughout his career, Doug enjoyed interviewing celebrities from the sports world who visited the state of Oregon. After 46 years in broadcasting, LaMear's name lives on in a unique Portland tradition, the One Club Golf Tournament, named in his honor. A living legend of Oregon broadcasting, Doug LaMear. All right, here he is.
Where do you want me?
Right here. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to interview you. Huh?
I'm going to ask for a raise if I get a job.
Doug LaMear, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time in coming, and I'm so happy that you're here tonight. How did it all get started in broadcasting for you? What tweaked it for you?
Well, actually, I don't know where to start. I was on an aircraft carrier during World War II, and because we lost 1,100 men, I was interviewed when I got home, and on the interview, I talked to Art Kirkham, and I went to the University of Portland. And sometime when I was going to the University of Portland, I got to thinking, that's a good way to make a living. Just sit down and talk.
Yeah, and you can do that, I know.
Yeah, so I decided I was going to try to do it. I got turned down at Washington State. I had a 2.74 at the University of Portland, and you had to have a 2.75 at Wazoo, and they said no. Oof. Okay, so I went to Lewis and Clark for a term to study languages and things like that. And then I got into a school, Columbia Broadcasting School, and from there I went down to Albany and put a FM station on the air. And while I was there, the sports guy, Hal Beyer, he moved to Salem, take a job there, and they asked me if I wanted to do the sports. And I said, sure. Well, I had never done any play-by-play or anything, and Beyer helped me. And he said the first time we're going to do a football game, he said the first thing going to happen to you is they're going to kick it off, and you're going to wonder where all those guys came from. And he was right. There were only 22 guys there, and you're going, wow. the station manager had been an ex-sportscaster, and he sat down and listened to the game, and he kept notes. And when I got to work on Monday, he walked in the office, the sales office, and he looked at me and he says, "You stink." he handed me 4 pages of notes of what I'd done wrong. Well, for a while I wondered what was the matter with me, and then a few months later I wondered what was the matter with him. But we persevered. I went over to Corvallis from Albany and ran the satellite station over there. And my wife and I were from Portland. And we just wanted to come back, so we came back to Portland without a job. And I went around to the different stations and applied for jobs. And I got a job at KPOJ first, then KGW Radio, part-time, weekend. And then I went over to Vancouver, and I got a job doing the football games of Hudson's Bay High School. And it was there that I started basically a real career in doing football, and I also did basketball over there.
All right, you are a pioneer in this state for television. How did all that begin with that great crew that you had?
Oh.
You, Capel, Richard Ross, by the way. Richard is here tonight.
Richard's over here.
The legendary Richard Ross is here tonight. It's so nice to see Richard. Tom McCall and Ivan Scott. How was that all put together by Mrs. Bull?
Ivan Smith.
Ivan Smith, excuse me.
And Tom McCall. Well, that's being with that group was unreal. None of us were as successful as we were to become, but we worked together well. Richard and I, in all the years we worked together, we had one argument. We cleared the newsroom when it happened. But that's the only time we had an argument about something that I wanted to do and he didn't want me to do. And I went ahead and did it.
No kidding.
Then we had an argument. But anyway, working with those guys was so much fun. And the fellows that came down from Seattle were great talents. The production manager, the program director, Tom Dargan, and the fellow that interviewed me for the sports job, TV. I was on radio, doing radio for KGW Radio. He did the interview, and at one time he said, "What's the difference between TV and radio?" I said, "Keep your mouth shut." And I was a believer, and still am, to the Ray Scott School. If you can see the picture, I don't need you to tell me what's happening on there. Number 48's carrying the football, okay?
That's right.
I don't need all these guys talking about Notre Dame and something while I'm watching the football game.
Well, you did it magnificently, Doug. Amen. I want you to stand with me right now, please. You did your craft well, and you were a pioneer. And as of this moment, Doug LaMear, inducted September the 26th, 2006, into the State of Oregon Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you.